if I'm sitting at home, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, how do I know that I'm ready? And then how do I know like the specific tasks that are good tasks to go and outsource? Like, how did you know when you came across that in each individual spot?
For me, there was this feeling, and it's a feeling that I have gotten from a lot of other entrepreneurs that were sort of at this stage. It's this feeling that, and it really starts to hit you, of feeling trapped. And that's the best way I can
Hmm.
describe it. Like you're in a box and you don't have the resources to get yourself out of the box. Now, what this feels like is that you've got all this work, but you're not bringing in enough money to hire someone to do it. Now, I know that sounds crazy because we're talking about outsourcing and hiring people to do the work, but that's when the feeling starts to sort of get there. Or that's one extreme of it. And I think that, this is a multifaceted sort of thing. That's one extreme of it. The other extreme of it and this is the more fun one, but it's when you've got a lot of money coming in because your product is selling like hotcakes and you've got a lot of different customers, and you realize that while the money may be good, you are leaving so much money on the table and so much business on the table because you are literally filling up your entire day with these things. And so it's one of those things that, like, either you feel like you're in that box or you're at a spot to where when your head hits the pillow at the end of the day, you are completely exhausted and you have no idea of how this thing that you're doing, which is going well, is supposed to grow because you feel so tired and you don't have anything left to give. And so those are the two extremes. And I think it's important because, like, I think the second one a lot of people can identify with and they can recognize that. But the first one too, there's always that thing of like, I need help, but there's not enough money to get help. Well, if you do it strategically, there is. And that's how you get out of that box. And so for me, that's the place where I started to realize that, and the thing that I try to help other people identify is, okay, it's time to get some help and not be a one person show anymore. Those are the two big things that I'm looking for. What about you, Tabitha?
Yeah, so for me, I would say it's when you realize you're spending your time doing things that you absolutely hate doing because you have to do it. When you could be spending your
Right.
time doing things that you actually enjoy or the things that are income producing. Usually you're the
Right.
person in there that has to do those certain tasks, to generate that income. And if you're not able to do that side of your business because you're tackling all the little things that are still have to be done, I'd say that's when you know it's the time.
Well, it's interesting too. Just as a side caveat, a lot of people here maybe are thinking that this is just when you're a solopreneur and you're by yourself and you're doing this. But I think a great way to actually start this, and something that we actually encourage everybody on our team to do, is within your own set of tasks. How do you get that done? How do you get that done without you having to do it? Because at the end of the day, in our company, it's just, did the job get done at a high level? That's it. Now, obviously, there's a line of how much we can spend on things, and we have budgets for things. But at the end of the day, if we can produce something at a high level, I really don't care that the particular person that task is assigned to, or it's their quote unquote job, if they did it. It's really about, did we bring something to the table that blew us away? And so with all of our folks that are on our team, like, one of the big things that we encourage everybody to do is to learn how to outsource themselves so that they can go get help, without having to come ask me or having to ask, our director of operations if, this is okay. It's literally getting them to a place of knowing, I have this at my disposal all the time that I can go do. I just have to get good at doing it. And so I think with anything that you're doing, with any gig that you've got right now, whether it's just you or you're working with somebody else, looking for those opportunities to make your life more efficient, to get rid of the things that you hate, because this is exactly what Tabitha said. When you get all of the things or some of the things that you hate off of your plate, the quality of your work goes through the roof, and you become that person, whether you're in an organization or you're doing things for yourself, that what we call world class. And we've been talking about this a lot lately. How do you get to a level where you're not just doing something that's at the level everybody else is doing, but you're at the level where there's like 10 people, there's 10 people on the planet that you could point out, they're putting out something, a product, or a something out there, a service that is, there's maybe 10 people on the planet that can do it. And a lot of people are like, well, that seems like a lot. There's a lot of people on the planet, but that's what outsourcing can afford you. You can be at this point to where you are collecting talent and using talent in a way that what you do is completely unique, and it's at a level that nobody else can do. And so, like I said, this is something that we really do encourage. It's when you're hating your job, it's because you're not doing your job correctly. And not doing your job correctly typically means you're not getting the help that you need to get. And so, yeah, I think that's all of us though. Like everybody here, there's parts of our gig that like right now, I guarantee you every one of us right now can be like, I got to get that off my plate. I got to get that off my plate. I hate this. And if you let that set for too long, it becomes, I hate this job. And, and so that's the encouragement that I'd give anybody that's listening to this is if you're in a place in your job where you're like, I am a creative and smart person. Why am I doing this? When you're having that, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Tabitha, it's time to get someone else to help you with that. And as we'll talk about later, it's usually not that expensive to do that. And so I think the big answer for me on this question is that what do you hate? Number one, what do you not want to do anymore that's going to completely ruin your job if you have to keep doing it? Number two, if you're kind of by yourself and you got something that's going and you're making money, but you're like, oh, I don't have enough money to hire someone, but I can't keep doing this by myself because this feels like I'm trapped. That's one place. The other is you're making so much money because your product is selling like hotcakes and you just don't have anything left to give. And those are the real big markers that it's time to get some help. And as we're going to really get into here, it does not cost that much to get the help if you know where to start looking for help to do it. There's plenty of folks out there that are looking for a gig and they will trade having to drive to an office, having to come into a place where they don't want to be. They will trade that for giving you a deal on doing the work. And this is where it gets really fascinating.
If you want to listen to more episodes, learn more about our mission, or send us questions or feedback about the show, go to serialprogressseeker.com. You can help the mission by subscribing, reviewing, rating, and commenting wherever you listen to or watch podcasts.